that interface. Later on, this is a function. This function, as far as I have studied, this is kind of making sure of the init files that are going to be loaded into the interfaces. So this is a default code that you can find already created in the when you create a .env file. Here we created a function, IVAction switch view ID sender, which is the button function. In the button function, what we do is a little bit of animation. At first, we see that Dante index, if it is null or is nullified, it's not working, we set it up the way that we displayed it for the Dante interest. However, here it goes on to the animation. You can read UI view begin animation, view flip, that's the type of animation, and the constants is going to be null. UI view set animation duration is 1.25, remaining 25 seconds, or I think it's 1 second in 25. So 1 second point 25. UI view animation curve is in and out. Here we have set up how the animation is going to play out. In this section we have the coming and the going. And in here, to explain it very simply, this is if self.entrance.view.superview equals null, the incoming, the screen that is going to be first shown is going to be Dante interest, which is going to make a transition from Dante index is going to go away and Dante interest is going to come in. And we have a transition, which is the flip from left. And here we go the other way around from Dante interest, which is the one that was being viewed, we're gonna go back to Dante index. And the transition is gonna be flipped from right. So flip from left, flip from right. And here, this is all just initialization, such as UI view set animation transition, what type of transition for view who was going to view it, self.view cache, yes. Coming view will appear, yes. Going view will disappear, yes. Going that view removed from super view. This is all a hierarchy, just programming the hierarchy, how everything is going to go down in the animation, and so on and so forth. If you keep reading, it's very simple, it's not complicated, it's nothing out of this world. It's just initializing and passing functions. Here, these are also just simple initialize, or simply when you create the file, switch view controller.m. These are the type of functions such as show auto rotate to interface orientation. This is going to be a default function created. And this as well, did receive memory warning. This is already created. Here, even though this is already created and it's deallocating a lot of the memory, we have to allocate the class Dante index release, Dante interest release, both of them. So we can release memory, we can free up memory. So this is the first part of the function. Now we're going to go to the first view screen. In this case, we're going to go to the source code. In this source code, as you can see, this section, when Dante interest.h view goes on, is going to create a label, which is the main label, I named it. And that label is going to show the information we want to show. In this case, we want to show the pages for the application. Property anatomic retain UI label main label. This is just to initialize it and to set the necessary variables. I haven't learned yet what nanoatomic in retain exactly means. I will get back to you on that one sooner or later. haven't learned. Actually, I have learned the definition. I just don't remember. Here, we just simply program or initialize in a .h file. We need to pass the functions that we're going to use. So all of these are just all functions. Erase me, that's just to erase, simple. Dante page 1, Dante page 2, and so on until the page 745. So those are all the functions. And it's for a very good reason that we did it this way, because we want the label to switch very quickly. And let me explain with the Dante interest.m. In Dante interest.m, we import Dante interest.h file, we initialize the count, and we implemented the Dante interest class. Then we synthesize, or we initialize, in other words, main label. Here we have all the functions from the pages, all the pages that need to be viewed. As you can see, they all just copy and paste as long as they could fit in. Yep. Okay, that is a pain in the butt. So let's move down. It is a lot, so please don't get scared. These are the normal functions. Here we release the main label, release the memory for the main label when we finish the application. Here's the touch functionality. Touches begin, and it said touches with event UI event. Simply telling it we're just going to begin touching the screen, and we're going to program it. UI touch, we initialize the touch, touches any object on the screen. CG point is where the finger is going to point. So basically we could have two fingers, or we can have multi-touch, or we can press and release and all that stuff with our fingers. And there are other functions that we will later analyze, but not in this program, maybe in the next project. So here we have the touch, location, and view, self.view, the view that we are currently viewing. In this case, we are in Dante interest.h or Dante interest interface. Here we have a simple counter. We are going to count the amount of pages that we have. Currently, we also use a switch, so we can switch to the page that we want to view. In this case, self-perform selector, a selector function, we would select Dante page 1 when a count gets to 1, with object main label, which is going to send that information that we have on function Dante page 1 to the object main label. After delay is how many seconds is it going to delay. We are not going to delay it at all. So the user that's going to use the application won't think the application is slow. It's not slow. It's simply that we could delay the application. And at the end of the application, we have this down here where we erase any text, and then we load the next function of another page or a previous page. There's other functionality that we included that I did not show. In this case, for example, in this session, we just assign what kind of session that we want when the finger touches. For example, we have the X position from 161 to 320. We know that in the X direction we have 320 pixel resolution, and from up to bottom, which is the y-axis, we have from 0 to 480 degrees, 180 resolution. Okay, so here we say the counter is going to be less than 746 pages that we have. We're going to count the pages, because in this session what we did is we divided the screen in half from the X section from 161 to 320, and from 0 to 480 is the right screen, and the last one, the last program session that we had